My name is Jason. I'm 25 years old. And I'm what most people would call a movie buff. A film head. Or the film geek. You get the picture. I just love watching movies. There's a genre out there for everyone, just to name a few. There's family and children's movies, including things like Disney. And to be honest, most of the parents like Disney films more than the kids. There's action, science fiction, superhero, comedy, dark comedy, war, historical, religious, mystery, crime, drama, romance, fantasy, indie, western, sport, musical, adventure, and my two personal favorites, horror and thriller. There is even an array of children and adult animation including anime. Yep, I told you I was a movie buff. Anyway, for me movies were kind of like my escape from the real world. Because you never knew what world you were going to go to. So anyway, I currently work at the local library. It's only part-time, but it does come with its perks. On my break times I could use the computers and browse the internet. I could read the books whenever I wanted. There were even a small collection of DVDs you was allowed to rent out. To rent anything you had to have a library card for a few months first, but it was worth it. So every day after work without fail I would always make my way down to Blockbuster Video. It was my most favorite place to be in the world. I would spend all night looking through movies. I was always the last person left in there. Every night they would need to ask me to leave when it was time to shut the doors. It opens at 10 o'clock morning and shuts at 11 o'clock night. On my days off I would be there at 10 and leave at 11. I guess it's a good job I have a job, or else I would live at Blockbusters. So it was Friday. And I went about my usual routine of going to the library for work, browsing the internet on my break. And before you knew it I had finished my shift at work. And I was at the counter checking out a DVD I had picked out earlier that day. I think I rented a thriller movie called Phone Booth. So after saying goodbye to the library staff I made my way outside. It was now dark outside and it was the start of winter. My bike was locked up outside against a fence. I would often leave my bike outside the library. It was safe there. I always grabbed it on my way home. So I left my bike and began walking to the Blockbuster's video shop. I checked the time on my watch and it read 8 o'clock. So I still had 3 hours left to look at the movies. So I wasted no time in getting there, and just like that I was at the door of Blockbusters. I walked inside and I was immediately greeted by one of the staff members. "Hello, how are you today, Jason?" Dawn asked. "I'm okay, thank you." "How are you?" I asked. She then asked me, "Are you looking for anything in particular today?" "No, just browsing," I told her. So on my hands and knees I began searching through all the racks, stacking DVDs I liked in a neat little collection next to me. It didn't feel long before it was almost time for the shop to close. I had found around 10 different movies I liked. So I took them up to the counter and left them with Dawn. I had about half an hour left before Blockbusters closed. So I went back over to the racks to have one last look for the night. It was now finally time for Blockbusters to close. So after grabbing a couple more DVDs I headed over to the counter to pay for my rentals. After checking out all of my movies, I said goodnight to Dawn. She smiled and said goodnight back to me as she locked the door behind me. I picked up my bike outside the library and biked home. I was tired and just wanted to chill out. So I quickly banged a microwave meal into the microwave. It was mac and cheese. Nothing special, but it was food. After 10 minutes in the microwave my mac and cheese was ready to eat. So I placed it on my coffee table and began picking which movie I wanted to watch. There was a movie in my pile I really don't remember renting. I just thought Dawn must have gave me it by mistake. And I will take it back to her tomorrow. So intrigued to what it might be, I of course put it on. The movie was called Still Here. I put it on and immediately I saw a group of people. They appeared to be in a city I didn't recognize. They all walked around together. But what was weird was they all walked in sync with each other. Walking at the same pace like soldiers do. Never stepping out of line once. They all had this terrified look on their face. I watched them walk around for about 10 minutes. It didn't look the most exciting movie, but for some reason I was mesmerized by it. I was interested to know what was going to happen next. So I kept watching it. Walking in perfect alignment, I knew it wouldn't take long for someone to mess it up. And I was right. I chuckled to myself as I watched a young woman who was at the front of the group trip and fall over. What was weird is that the group never helped her up or even asked if she was okay. They just carried on walking over her, trampling her as they walked past. This was getting weird. The woman, clearly injured, desperately tried to catch the group up. I noticed she was now stood at the back of the group. She had blood dripping from her torso and from her legs. I didn't understand why she was so badly cut and bleeding. I knew she was trampled, but that wasn't enough to cause so much blood. I quickly rewinded the movie to the point where the woman tripped over. But I couldn't see anything that could have caused her to bleed like that. Puzzled, I fast-forwarded the movie to the point where I had gotten to. I carried on watching the movie until I saw someone else from the group trip over. This time it was a man. The group once again didn't stop, trampling the man in their tracks. I waited for the man, expecting him to join the group again, but he never did. The movie was pretty boring. But being the movie buff I was, I would give any movie a chance. So I watched the whole movie to the end. Nothing else really happened apart from they seemed to cover a lot of ground. They went to that many different places it looked almost like a travel program or something. Anyway, after watching the whole movie and eating my mac and cheese, I knew I didn't have to go to work tomorrow because it was Saturday. But I was tired, so I decided to go to bed anyway. I woke up pretty early because I had an early night. So I wasted no time in getting ready for my day off work. I looked at the time on my TV. It was 9:30. Like I said before, Blockbusters opened the doors at 10 o'clock in the morning. So I got on my bike and began my journey there. Riding my bike for about 10 minutes, I started to realize I hadn't seen anyone about. There were cars everywhere and a lot of traffic, but no people. I was becoming extremely paranoid because for some reason every person in their car was staring at me. Ignoring those in cars staring, I was riding that fast on my bike. I made it to Blockbusters in just under 15 minutes, which was fast for me. I then propped my bike up against the shop window. I tried walking into Blockbusters when I smacked my face against the door. It was closed. I couldn't believe it. Ever since I can remember, Blockbusters in my town had never closed the shop. Unless it was a Sunday, then it closed at 8. But it still was open every day of the week without fail. I spent so much time in Blockbusters. The staff member Dawn even gave me her number. She told me if there was anything I ever needed to do with movies to give her a call. So I did. I tried calling her, but my phone had no reception. That's weird, I thought to myself. So I locked my bike up behind Blockbusters. I was already in town, so I thought I'd take a walk around some other shops and see if I could find some decent movies. It was like a ghost town. There wasn't anybody anywhere. I tried going into a dollar store because I wanted to buy some blank DVD cases. But it was closed as well. What's going on? I said out loud to myself. I walked around, puzzled to why there were no people about or no shops open. After half an hour of trying near enough every shop in sight, I heard a faint voice in the background. Not knowing if I was imagining things, I closely listened when I heard it again. "Quickly come over here. Quickly." I walked towards the voice, leading me down a little alleyway. There was a young girl. She looked like she was in her early 20s. "What are you doing? Are you crazy?" the girl says. "What do you mean?" I asked her. She looked at me dead in my eyes and said, "You're new here, aren't you?" I responded back to her by saying, "I don't quite understand what you're saying." But what she told me next made me go weak in the knees. "You watched Still Here, didn't you?" Trying to grasp what she was talking about, she said, "That movie, Still Here." "Oh yeah, I remember," I said. "It was a really weird movie. It was more like a travel program or a documentary type movie." "What is your name?" the girl asked. "Jason." "Hello Jason, my name is Rose." "You laughed, didn't you?" "Rose, what do you mean?" Rose goes on to say that anybody who laughs at the movie ends up here. She asked me what part did I laugh at. I told Rose the part with the woman. Yeah, she says that part gets everyone. Where are we? I asked Rose. Rose says listen, nobody knows exactly, but it changes location randomly. One day you're in a small town and the next minute you're walking in a busy city. Jason, you don't understand how lucky you are. Rose, what do you mean? You see, Jason, just like the movie. If we are not in a group larger than 5 we die. That's why when you saw the women and man fall over in the movie, they quickly joined the back of the group. Not exactly, Rose, I remember the man never joining the group again. Oh yeah, Rose said quietly whilst looking down at the ground. You see, Jason, the man never joined the group again because he wanted to die. Once you're in a group larger than 5 we have to walk closely together. And the reason you saw people falling over is because they were walking for days without rest. But Rose, what caused all the blood coming from them? We don't know exactly, but anybody who is in range of the group that trips or strays from the group dies. I asked Rose. Why aren't me and you dead yet? Well, the reason you're still alive is easy, nobody has spotted you yet. Wait, Rose. There was some people in their cars that saw me. No, Rose says. The people driving in cars can only run you over if you wander in front of them. Rose goes on to say she tried something and it worked. She says she waited for someone to trip then quickly hit around the corner. It worked because she made it away. Rose says she thinks when someone in her group fell it caused a glitch, which allowed her to get away. Rose. Get away from who? I don't know, Jason. But I do know this. There's only one way to get back to our world. I quickly responded to Rose. How do we get back? We must find a copy of the movie. Great, I said. Oh Jason, if only it was as simple as that. You see, there has been thousands before us who have tried. But I've never heard of anybody ever succeeding. Jason. Allow me to explain further. Finding a copy of the movie, still here, is hard, but I already have a copy stashed. But finding Blockbusters is near impossible. Rose. I know where it is. No, you don't get it, Jason. Everybody who laughs at the movie enter this movie when they go back to Blockbusters. For example, if somebody watches the movie and laughs but never goes near a Blockbusters ever again for as long as they live, they won't come here. There's some sort of link between the movie and Blockbusters. But once we come here and we walk away from Blockbusters, it disappears forever. There's something else I must tell you. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I know a way to get to Blockbusters. But listen closely, Jason. Because the location is always changing, we have to risk our life. Rose, are you serious? Yes, Jason, it may be our only way back. If we stick together at the back of the group, every time the location changes, we can wait for somebody to get tired and fall over and then we hide. But I must warn you, even getting the movie back that I stashed is risky. Okay, Rose. Let's do it. So following Rose closely, we made our way through the alleyways. I saw the location quickly change into a city center. Rose grabbed my hand really fast. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that we could go to different locations and never be able to find each other again. Please, Jason, stay close. Rose then looks at me. Listen, Jason. I've been in this location many times before. I know where we are. If my calculations are correct, the next location will change to a countryside village. Don't let go of my hand, Jason. And just like that, I saw the busy city center change into a countryside village. Rose then whispered to me, Jason, we've been spotted. Rose, what makes you say that? You're bleeding. I looked down at one of my legs. It was cut and a bit of blood was running down my leg. Rose. What do we do? Jason, we must find a group of people larger than 5. We then ran around desperately looking for a group. And just when we thought we were done for, a group of people came around the corner and we quickly joined the back of the group. We followed the group waiting for people to fall over. We walked all day and me and Rose were exhausted. How do people last longer than a day? It's simple, Jason, Rose says. They choose to be alive. All of a sudden a chance come up. Somebody fell over. Rose pulled me to the side of a house. Rose became extremely excited. It's here, Jason, we made it to my stash place. The movie should be around the corner. Me and Rose went around the corner to her stash place, and just like she promised, it was there. We now had the movie safely in our hands. Rose, can't we tell everybody else that they can escape by hiding when somebody falls? Jason. You don't understand. If everyone knew, we will never get back to our world. Because we need the glitch to be able to hide. I asked Rose. Why did you help me and not the others? Because Jason, I needed somebody who hadn't been spotted yet. All we have to do now is follow the group and hide when someone falls. Anytime the location changes, we look around for Blockbusters. Yeah, but Rose, I tried to go into a lot of shops when I first came here. But they were closed. Like I said before, Jason, I'm not 100% sure, but I heard you have to post it in the returns letterbox. Okay, let's do it. We have to try. That's the spirit, Jason. So we made our way through location after location, looking for the Blockbuster video shop, hiding every time a person fell so we could look for it, just when it looked like we would never find it. We saw someone fall and hid, waiting for the location to change. When it did, we saw the famous blue and yellow logo in the distance. It was Blockbusters. I can't believe it, Jason. We found it. We both wasted no time and ran to the letterbox. Rose was about to post the video. Wait, Rose, I shouted. When we return, will we be together? Oh, I don't think so, Jason. We will return to the Blockbusters we originally was at when we first came here. I gave Rose a hug and thanked her for helping me. Thank you too, Jason. Without you, I wouldn't have made it out. Rose then posted the video in the letterbox. There was a glitch, and the next thing I remember, I woke up in my bed. Rose told me I would wake up outside Blockbusters, but I never. I couldn't believe it. It was all a dream. I said to myself, that's the last time I eat mac and cheese before bedtime. Luckily it was Sunday, so I didn't have to go to work. So I decided after a dream like that, some fresh air would do me some good. I left my bike at home and took a slow walk to town, thinking to myself about the dream and how real it felt. I knew I just had to go to Blockbusters to put my mind at ease. I arrived at Blockbusters and the door was open. That was a good start, because in my dream it wasn't. I walked inside and lovely Dawn was there to greet me. Hello, Jason. Hey Dawn, how are you? I'm okay, thank you, Jason. Everything was back to normal. I looked in the same place that I found the movie in my dream, but it wasn't there. Phew, I was relieved. I went over to Dawn. I didn't tell Dawn about my dream, but I did ask her if the movie was in the shop. She looked it up. No, Jason, it doesn't exist. Okay, Dawn, have a nice day. I said goodbye and she said it back to me. I almost made it to the door when Dawn shouted something to me. Dawn, what was that? She said she hasn't had a chance to get them out yet. But thank you for returning my movie. What do you mean, Dawn? I said. Yesterday you returned a movie in the letterbox. I went as pale as a ghost. Playing dumb, I said to Dawn. Did I? Yeah, this one. Dawn opened the letterbox with her staff key. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was the movie. Still here. I immediately got goose pimples all over me. I quietly spoke to myself. Oh, Rose. It was all real. It was all real.